Good morning, traders. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm going on to part two of my Thanksgiving special. It's Thursday, November 25th, 2021, 6:56 a.m. here in Bangkok, Thailand. And I'm just following up with my previous video. I broke down GBP, JPY, had some buy stops still open, but waiting for entry to be triggered. And I'm going to now go over Euro USD to finish up my daily breakdowns. I want to get started with the macro approach just so we can understand exactly what's going on. So let's erase the chart, start off with a clean chart background. We can see that the past few days, past couple weeks actually, it's been very bearish and the momentum is only picking up speed. I don't see this as a major area of support to hold, and I do believe price will crash through there. So I'm preparing myself and positioning myself for that setup. And I do believe that this is going to be a very nice breakout day up ahead. It is also Thanksgiving, so it's a holiday, it's a bank holiday, and you know how things move on bank holidays. It's very unsuspected. Sometimes market could move, sometimes market does not move, and if it does move, it could move a lot. So let's get down to let's start off with the weekly approach. I want to just mark up some areas of confluence that I see. So there's one right above there. I don't foresee price going that high anyways, but just for reference, this one right here. These are just estimates. This one right here, and I marked this off in my previous Euro USD video. I did explain that price was going to continue on down to the support, and it did reach the support exactly as I had explained in my last Euro USD video. So for those of you that didn't watch it, definitely check it out. I did explain the exact move all the way down to where price is currently settling at right now. And this is just a follow-up. I do believe the daily price bar will break below. Actually, the weekly will break below this and continue on down. So I'm now going to mark down my exits that I believe price is going to go on the long term. I do believe price, if it continues to drive down, it will hit 1.08. But before that, it might struggle around 1.00. So that's about 170 pips away, 200 pips away from current price. So that's a beautiful weekly target. Looking at the daily, there's not really anywhere that I would say is a safe area to enter shorts just yet, because if you do enter a short, you might have to swing it and have a wide stop. So this isn't necessarily the area, but just wanted to highlight it has been a very bearish week. And if there is a minor area, it's right above here. I'm going to mark this off just for reference. We'll get back to it later. So the minor area is around 1.137, about 167 pips away. Other than that, I don't really see any area above that I'm interested in. Let's go into the 4-hour chart. The price is trending. It's a pretty wide and volatile swing to the downside, but we do see another minor area. I want to mark that off as well. It's just an estimate as well. The next minor area is about 58 pips away. That's probably around this area is where I would be placing my stop loss if I were to put a swing trade as today. Let's get into the 30-minute time frame. And get in more detail now. This is what I like to see. More detail. Do I see any minor area? I mean, it looks like it's a very strong move to the downside, and if you are trading on a 30 minutes or above, this would probably be the best that I would say you can do is maybe have like an 80 pip stop loss and of course a 200 pip target, which would still give you a little over a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio on the weekly. But you know, that's not what I do. I do suspect price to potentially either pull back up and retest these highs of about 1.112, or it can just crash down below and continue its drive. So I'm going to have a couple orders set up on this pair because I do see it as a risk-seeking trade. It's more or less going to just continue to break the floor and continue to drive down. So I want to mark this up right here. You can see how price has been bouncing off of this support. I'm actually going to split this up. I'm going to put a 5 lot down. is going to be my entry for this type of trade. And of course, I need to get into the smaller time frame to find my stop losses because I don't trade with that wide of a stop. Okay, this is my time frame, the 5 minutes. So we can see lots of action happening right here. Not really focused on these highs right here. It's too far away. Not really focused on these highs. I'm more or less focused on this zone right here and looking at price actually play out. I see the wick right here, so I'm going to mark that off. Just around this area is an estimate. And this is what I'm looking for as a warning sign. Also want to draw a Fibonacci retracement so I can mark everything up. Swing high, swing low before the confluence. And yes, perfect, beautiful. So I do suspect price to potentially climb up towards 1.12. And at this point, I'd be looking for some entries to take a short. I'm not going to be looking for entries long because my bias is short for the day. Let's just take a look at where I would go if my stop loss was above here. About 40 pips, which is much better than what it was before. But at the same time, I'm still not convinced just yet. This is a lot of congestion, and that's why I'm just not really a big fan of this type of setup. But if I were to take a stop loss, it would be about 1.122. So that's where I'd place that stop loss right now for that buy, for that sell stop. 1.12.2. So that's going to be about a 40 pip stop loss if price does tap my sell and reject against me. Now, assuming that price is going to continue on up until that happens, I want to just take a look at the daily trend and see what's been going on. So market closed and it just reset a few hours ago. And as we can see, price has been trending up. This is a very weak uptrend, which is why I'm not a fan of it. I wouldn't even be trying to scalp this right now because it looks like it's unstable. All we're looking for is a break of this uptrend, something to invalidate it. And I could already see that potentially happening right now. But of course, it does look like it could potentially climb up and try to tap into these highs above. So once again, I'm not taking a market order. I'm just speculating and I'm just being prepared for whatever comes. Zooming back out, looking for an entry based off of this. Your nearest entry would be right there. I would have a sell stop order as of today. And like I said, if price does go up towards this highs, that's where I'll be looking for some sort of reaction. If it does go up towards these highs, it could potentially go higher. It's no doubt about it. And if it does, it could potentially mess around this zone right here, which is why, once again, I'm not looking for any type of trade setup towards the upside, but I'm also not taking a market order yet because since this has not happened yet, what tends to happen a lot of times when you take market orders is that you might have a trading plan, and the trading plan might be right long term, but because you took the market order, you're taking your setup ahead of your plan. What happens if you're doing something ahead of time? It might be unfinished, like the pattern might be unfinished. The pattern that would have validated your entry, it did not set up yet, and so it's still playing out the old pattern, aka yesterday's pattern. If I were to go long from yesterday, as you guys can see right here, I'm actually going to zoom in so I can get into more detail. And this is something that your mentor is not going to teach you, so just pay close attention. Yesterday's move, it ended on a low of the day. And if you were to scalp this, because I am a scalper as well, and I can see a potential opportunity from the downside up, the scalper would definitely look for a nice entry going into the end of the day, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Scalper entry will be right above 1.12, and the scalper would take about 13 pips above. If it does close above here, the scalper will continue on up towards the next area of resistance, which we can see right here. So this will be a scalper's move, and as we can see, it is following through with everything. So if I did take a long right here, the stop loss would be right above my entry, my actual entry, and I would scalp it all the way up as far as I can. It's not a good time to enter a scalp, right now because it's about 9 to 10 pips away from an area of resistance, and that's not the smartest thing to do. So my next area to buy into as a scalper would be about 1.12, 180. Now, when we zoom out, what can we see? As soon as you get up to 1.12, 180, there's an area above which I don't really see as that stable. So it's more than likely going to break this resistance and continue to climb as far up as possible. So as a scalper, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go for like a 20 to 25 tip target at that high. So me personally, I would buy it right here, and I would take it up to about 1.12, 4. And that would be my scalp of the day. But I'm not going to do that because, of course, I'm looking for sells, and I don't want to confuse you guys with too many different types of orders just right now because it's too advanced of a topic to be discussing to my students. So as of right now, just be patient, wait for the break of today's lows, or wait for price to continue to rise, and then wait for a break of the uptrend that is going to form to enter your shorts at a much higher area, and then take price down. TP1 would be about 1.18, so it'll be at the lows of the week, and then I'd have to do entry, and then TP2, of course, I didn't mark that up yet, saved it for the end of the video, but TP2 would be here. $1.102. So that's about 161 pip target. So you guys can see that I'd be risking about, on this sell stop order, I'd be risking about 40 pips for 160 pips, which is about a 4-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So this would be TP1. Of course, price continues to break down. We just look for, at the time, we'll look for a nice area to take a scaling in entry, and we'll lower our stops at that time, and we'll continue to take price down and follow through for the rest of the day and week. So I hope that makes sense to you all. Just continue to follow up with me. I'll update everyone at the end of the week, and trade safe.